Hey everyone, it's Lisa from Epic Yarn Gems. Today I'm going to be showing you how to do the Alpine stitch. This is a pretty versatile stitch and it adds a lot of texture and you can use it in many different projects. So to get started, we are going to start with a slip knot, and for this demonstration I am going to chain 16 stitches plus 1. So that's a total of 17. You're going to want to typically work in even stitches plus 1, but if your pattern calls for something else, you're going to want to do it that way. After we finish our first foundation row, we are going to go into the second chain from the hook and we're going to do single crochets. We are going to do single crochets all the way down our foundation chain until we get to the end. For our row 2, we're going to do a chain 2 because this row is going to be double crochets. I'll put a link in the description or up above that shows how to do a double crochet just in case you don't know. You start with a yarn over, go under the stitch, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through the 2 loops on your hook, yarn over and pull through the last 2. We're going to do an entire row of double crochets. After that row, we're going to do a chain 1 because you're going to be doing a row of single crochets, and you're going to go into that same stitch that you did the chain 1. So you are going to do a row of single crochets all the way across, and then once we get to the end of this, we're going to be going into the actual Alpine stitch. This is just setting up the foundation to get started. So we're going to start this next row with a chain 2. And this is where we are going to start making the front post double crochets, which is going to make the columns that alternate. So in the row that we were just working on, we're going to do a double crochet. Then we are going to go down 2 rows down to where that last set of double crochets were, and we're going to do a front post double crochet around that double crochet that was 2 rows down. Then what you're going to do is you're going to skip a stitch in the row that we were currently working on, and we'll put in the stitch after that a double crochet, and then you're going to go down 2 rows again. You're going to skip one of those posts and go into the next post and do a front post double crochet. I will attach some videos on how to do front post double crochets so that you can see it, and I go a little slower on those. So there you're going to skip that stitch, go into the next one and do a double crochet. Then you're going 2 rows down again and you're going to skip a post and you're going to go into the next post with a front post double crochet. And this is really the whole pattern that you need to get into, is because you're going to be working basically 2 rows at a time. You're going to be working the current row that you're on, and you're going to be working 2 rows down into the double crochet row before, or the double crochet row 2 rows down. And it is just an alternating pattern. It's always going to be, you're going to do a stitch, then you're going to skip, and then you're going to do another stitch. So you can see you're getting these little blocks or patterns of every other. And if we looked at the back, you would see that you have a pattern of every other there as well. So as we finish up this row, we're just going to do a chain 1, turn our work, and do a row of single crochets. In between each double crochet row, you're going to do a single crochet row. This is another repeat row. So this is a chain 2, and rather than starting with a double crochet, we're going to skip a stitch in the row we were working on, again going 2 rows down and doing a front post double crochet. And then you're going to skip a stitch on that top row, which we just did, and in the next stitch we're going to do a double crochet in the current row that we were working on. I always like to turn it sideways a little bit just to make sure that I'm getting my hook in the right place because you are working in 2 rows at a time and sometimes you can get off. So we did our double crochet and now we're going to skip a post 2 rows down and do another front post double crochet. As we go back to the top row, we're going to make sure that we skip a stitch and go into the next stitch on the top and do a double crochet. So this stitch is pretty easy. It's just remembering where you are on your rows. So what you're doing is you're alternating stitches. So you're doing double crochet, skip stitch, double crochet, skip stitch. But at the same time, you're doing 2 rows down, front post double crochet, skip, front row double crochet, skip. So not only are you alternating stitches, you're alternating from the row you're working on to the second row down. It sounds confusing, but truly, once you get cooking on this, you're just going to be doing great. It's just always trying to remember where you're putting your stitches. And that is truly the end of the Alpine stitch. You are just going to repeat rows 3 through 6 over and over. And like I said, just remember between each of your double crochet rows, you're going to do a row of single crochet. It just makes some nice spacing. I do really like how this pattern works up, and I've done a couple beanies with this stitch, which is usually in the round, so it is a little different. So like I said at the beginning, whatever project you're working on, look at your pattern to see how many stitches you're going to start with, and that's really going to show you where you want to start. I think this stitch is really great for, like I said, beanies. I love doing it in beanies. I also think it'd be pretty cool for maybe a scarf or even a blanket. So get creative. Use it for whatever you want, and I really hope you've enjoyed this stitch. Like I said, it is great texture. As long as you're putting your hook in the correct placement, you'll be fine. I have been trying to come up with stitches that I think you all would enjoy or would want to learn. So if there are specific stitches that you would like for me to demonstrate, please leave me a comment and I will do my best, one, to see if I can do them, and two, if I can show them to you easily so that I'm understandable. Sometimes, you get a little tongue-tied and it's hard to describe where you're what you're actually doing as you're doing it. But if there are stitches, please, I would love to hear from you in the comments, and I will do my best to do a tutorial for you. I really hope that you've enjoyed the video. As always, thank you for supporting Epic Yarn Gems, and peace, love, and happiness to you all. Take care.